Are you struggling with mental health issues? Today, we're going to be talking about what you should be doing before you get into taking medications. My name is Jason Steves. I'm a nutrition professional at the Nutrition and Health Center, and I'm joined with my co-host, Steve Steves, who is the founder of Nutrition Health Center, certified clinical nutritionist and naturopath. And as I mentioned, today we are going to be diving into things that you can do, nutrition and lifestyle, that can help you balance your mental health naturally without taking medications. And it's something that we have seen great results in. Really excited to dive into this. Steve, you just you've dealt with this a lot, I think, over the years. What is the first thing that you would say as far as we're going to kind of focus on fatty acids, but there are other things too. But yeah, what is the first comment that you would say when talking to someone about if they're struggling with mental health, what they should be thinking about first?
Well, they need to be thinking about, are they supporting their detox pathways? Are they allowing staying away from preservatives and chemicals and heavy metals and pesticides? There's a toxic world out there that we've got to be careful about, that causes inflammation, that causes insult, and interferes with our wellness. There's a lot we need to do to build up with nutrients, but there's a toxic world we just have to be so sensitive to, and especially the fatty acids that are bombarded with the toxic fats, the arachidonic acid, the lipid peroxidase, and the lipid peroxides that the brain has a high concentration of due to its metabolically very active. It consumes 25% of all the body's use of energy. People don't realize that, how much energy. Like last night, I was needing energy, and I could tell my brain was kind of shutting down. I had missed a meal. I had a hard leg workout in the morning, and I was behind on my calorie curve. And then I was headed over there to meet with you and watch you play basketball. And on that drive over there, I'm just stuffing myself with snacks and calories just so I could deal with that. And so about 8:30 at night, and people go, "Oh, don't eat late at night." And I knew I wouldn't sleep well if I didn't have a full meal. I'm making chicken, I'm making some millet and rice pasta,
There you
and
go.
I'm fueling up my body because the brain needed that to sleep. And now today, I'm so pumped up. We're going to play some pickleball today. I'm going to go do my other workout this morning.
Great.
Regeneration. So that gives everybody hope because it's a toxic world, and we've got some work to do to keep these brains working so that we can enjoy our whole life.
Right. Yeah, last time we kind of went over specifically omega testing and the role of fatty acids in people's health. And we're kind of bouncing off of that into this subject of mental health because fatty acids really have a strong impact. But I appreciate you mentioning that because so many clients that we see, a lot of their mental health challenges they're having are a result of just an imbalanced diet and lifestyle. And if they got better understanding of what they can do to eat well and not cause themselves to gain weight, I think that's one of the things that we'll often teach people. And I think a lot of people are aware, like eating late at night can be something that will, contribute to the body being unhealthy, gaining weight. But like what you mentioned, what you're eating and why you're eating is important because usually people are eating garbage food based on like just not like kind of starving themselves earlier in the day and then just trying to kind of get that hunger satiated. And so, but what you're doing is fueling so that your body rests well, so that you're well. So now, what we're going to focus on today is the mental health side of fatty acids. And so dive in, buckle up, folks. We're going to dive in. We have a connection between omega-3 fatty acids and brain function. And so how do you explain that to people when they're coming to you? I've got some mental health issues. You're looking at their fatty acids. Maybe you had them do an omega check and they're out of balance. what are you explaining to them as to the importance of these fatty acids for brain health, for mood, and cognitive support?
Well, the main components in the most active form of omega-3s is EPA and DHA. Now, EPA is a powerful cell membrane regenerator and an anti-inflammatory, but so is DHA. But it's DHA that is recognized as needed to build up neuronal cell membranes. So it makes up about 30 to 40% of the structural fat in our brain. That's why they started putting DHA in pregnancy supplements and to make sure that the infant was getting it while it was being developed. And then, of course, afterwards, so important for children to have that. It supports the membrane's flexibility, its permeability, and its ability to respond with hormone signals, neurotransmitter signals. The membrane needs to be kept stable and allow it for faster communication so that your body can have healthy reactions. Like watching you play basketball last night, seeing your fast reactions. You're going to be 42 in a couple of months. And man, I don't know, you're probably one of the older guys out there on the court last night.
Yeah.
And you exuded the quickest. I mean, some of these guys were quick, but you were dialed in, and your ability to handle yourself like that just demonstrated this thing we're talking about, the
Right.
fast communication between nerve cell firing of muscles, of brain. You knew how to react in situations. It's fun to watch someone, and even like your son, who is an amazing athlete, but he's also neuronally nourished with good fatty acids. So
Right.
when a person has low DHA, they have stiff membranes. Their signaling is slower. Their
Mhm.
DHA impacts pregnancy, the childhood brain, as I mentioned, and of course the aging brain. But the neurons that fire neurotransmitters, and this is why people get addicted to drugs like benzodiazepines and SSRIs, is they don't have healthy membranes and they're not signaling serotonin, dopamine well. And so they don't have good, have you heard this term, the neuronal plasticity or synaptic plasticity? It's your brain's ability to learn and form new pathways. So we're always learning new things. We can learn, and the brain stays alive longer the more you try to learn new every day. But without DHA, it's a struggle for a lot of people to remember things and obviously to grow and want to learn. So in
Yep.
neuroinflammation, DHA converts compounds like resolvins and protectins, which calm inflammation in the brain, protect neurons from oxidative stress, support recovery after injury, help with brain fog, mood disorders, neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's, like dementia, and so forth. And then the myelin, the nerve insulation that covers the signaling agents of through all the cells and throughout the entire body and the nerves that are firing, maintains these healthy myelin sheaths, reduces and protects against the demyelinization issue. If you really want to see what that is, watch a movie called uh, Lorenzo's Oil. It's an old
Hmm.
movie, but it really shows how the body diseases can develop when they lose their myelin. And then, of course, they get into that movie about how fatty acids regenerate the myelin. So
Right.
improves the conductivity of the nerves, important improves the cognition, better motor function, healthier long-term nerve integrity. And then also the DHA promotes the regeneration, neurogenesis, the growth of new brain cells. We're always growing cells. There's videos that you can watch of that. It's quite fascinating. But in the hippocampus in the brain, it's the memory center of the brain. DHA actually stimulates what's called the brain neurotropic factor, BDNF, brain derived neurotropic factor. Growth of neurons are controlled by that. Protections of the existing neurons controlled by that. And it's the miracle grow for the brain that's DHA dependent. And the last couple here stabilizes the mood and stress response. People with DHA levels often show increased anxiety, higher rates of depression, reduced stress tolerance. DHA helps to modulate serotonin, cortisol response, neuroinflammatory pathways. There's so much involved there. Protects vision and the retina. The retina contains the highest DHA concentration in the body. So, very important to keep your retina and eye vision healthy. So uh, the photoreceptors are helped, the visual processing. It even reduces age-related macular degeneration. So folks can't say enough about fatty acid, especially the DHA component and how it helps protect the brain and protect neuroinflammation and all these components. I praise God for we're fearfully and wonderfully made. A healthy,
Yeah.
we are just designed to be so helpful. But we should talk about the nutrients, especially in our bundles, Jason, because we've
Yeah,
got,
we will. We will. So, but first, we want to
yeah,
make sure that people understand common mental health approaches. Like the medical institution, they're giving information out there that you should do this and that. Now, we're not medical doctors. We don't diagnose or treat disease, but we kind of prefer it that way because what we've seen over the years, what you went through and how we've helped, hundreds and thousands of people over the years to improve their health in these areas because these issues that people are dealing with are so much lifestyle related, nutrition and lifestyle related. And when they get their nutrition and lifestyle right, this stuff goes away. These mental health issues go away. The cancer goes away, heart disease, all this stuff goes away. So, but we want to make sure that people know, like, okay, this is what the medical is saying, and this is how we should deal with that because people are interacting with, doctors and stuff constantly. So we want to make sure we touch on that. So, SSRIs, benzodiazepines, and mood stabilizers, those are common medications that doctors will recommend when people are having mental health issues. So when you have someone that's coming in, they're on an SSRI, benzodiazepine, mood stabilizer, how do you help them understand what those are, what they're doing to the body, and how they need to shift their mindset to understand to help to restore and heal the body so that they can be well?
well, in the industry of medicine, there's never a rebuilding aspect. There's always a blocking aspect. So a benzodiazepine, for example, is highly addictive, and we become dependent on those. But the side effects are linked to drowsiness, confusion, impaired coordination. And if you mix it with alcohol or any opioids for pain or inflammation, the risk of overdose, respiratory depression, decrease, I'm sorry, increases death risk significantly. It's just a very high risk issue and it impairs cognitive function. So, why would you use it? Absolutely don't even have a clue. And then the mood stabilizers, they use those in depression cases. They interfere with gastrointestinal function, which then causes leaky gut, more fatigue, not uptaking nutrients effectively, where they're having more microbial invasion, immune suppression, physical health problems, increased thyroid problems, kidney stones. Uh, it's especially a problem with kidney issues with lithium when they use that. So, metabolic syndrome, diabetes, and potential adverse effects in pregnancy. These drugs are dangerous. And then the last one, of course, serotonin reuptake inhibitors. We deal with that a lot. And what they do is they're interfering with the reuptake molecules in the nerve firing. And really, the danger of that is then you affect how the neurons respond. They become sluggish, they become hardened. SSRIs have a lot of dangerous side effects, many of them, with, like I just listed for the others. But it's so easy to raise serotonin levels. So easy. You just need to do our neurotransmitter test, and I'll show you why.
Yeah.
Because I had the lowest serotonin levels. Now, one other person has finally beat my lowest. Of all the testing I've done in these last 15 years of neurotransmitters, mine was the lowest up until just this year. Someone beat me. But you can see it's getting worse. The biochemistry in individuals is becoming more depleted. We see more deficiencies and more nutrient needs because of this toxic world, because of drug use, and even over-the-counter meds. We don't even have time to get into that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty bad, and people are just we don't think that the medical institution, for the most part, people that are working in that field, they're not intentionally trying to cause harm. They're just trained to do things a certain way.
Right.
I always share
Well,
this.
it's the only tools they in
Yeah,
their toolbox, right? Well, at
exactly.
least, and they're even hampered from using the tools that we use. That's what's crazy.
Right.
The institution is set up to fail, and it has
Yeah,
failed for so long, and people are turning away from it to things that make a difference, like what we're
right.
doing with individual biochemistry support. That's the exciting thing.
Right.
Talking about
Well,
biochemical individuality, uh, the individual clinical nutrition aspect of that's so exciting.
yeah. Yeah, I was going to say the analogy I often share with clients is like usually a person that has a hammer and that he's really good with the hammer, everything looks like a nail, you know. And so
That's
that's
right.
kind of how doctors are. You know, they have medications and everything that they look at is set up to use the medications. You have this disease, use this medication. So but we're trying to help people understand that there is a better way, kind of how you got started in this. God really helped you. You believe it was God speaking to you, and I believe so too, that there's a better way. You were diagnosed with a terrible disease that cripples people and they die young. And so I think a lot of people are kind of in that boat, but they just don't know what to do, and they're just kind of following the medical way. Well, usually the medical doesn't have answers for getting things turned around. They just say what they told you. You're going to be in a wheelchair at 40, you know, all that.
Uh,
And so the thing that we often share with people, and in conversation over the years, you and I kind of realized is, why am I going to follow the instructions of somebody who's telling me that I'm going to have a disease and keep having a disease? Like, why would I follow their instructions? I want to follow the instructions of someone who's telling me that there is a way out, there is hope for healing, I can be well and repaired. And so
Amen. And
that's
well, Jason, if they believe that and they're going to be living that, so that's what's so different about what we do at Nutrition Health Center. You and I and our kids and your brothers, your sisters, and their spouses, they're living this truth. We're seeing the results of it. We are the best scientific study over the last 40 years and more. And so we know it works. And we don't need someone to manipulate a false uh, placebo controlled study that's just so manipulated for their outcome desire. We see the desire. We know what God's word says. We know what truth is. And He alone provides truth. And we have to kind of sift through all this science that can deceive us and know, so, okay, how can we validate the truth of fatty acids? Well, God gave us oils, He gave us fish, Jesus gave fish.
right.
Why did He do that? Well, we can speculate. He doesn't say exactly. Jesus said, well, I knew that there was EPA and DHA, even though that'll only be named in the English language in about 2,000 years from now. And once you know what that does, you'll be amazed at how I created your body. And that's why I'm giving you fish right now, because it'll lower your inflammation. And I can preach to you on the Sermon on the Mount for 4 hours, and you can really grasp and understand what I'm telling you. And it can go from your brain into your heart and into your soul and transform you. And it's exciting to see the transformation that happens to people. It doesn't just happen physically. They have spiritual and mental, emotional transformation when they work with us. I just love doing this work.
Yeah, it's good. So we got a couple minutes, maybe about 4 minutes left. What we're going to do, folks, is we're going to share with you nutrition and lifestyle solutions, essentially. We're going to dive into supplements you can use as well. So buckle up. We're going to do this in real quick. So one thing that we have on prospernutrition.com is the brain health bundle. So, Steve, would you like to go through and kind of
Yeah,
summarize
I
this?
can zip through this real quick, Jason, without a lot of detail. B12 is involved in the methylation process, so it helps with the body's balance of cellular circulation, with how your body generates red blood cells, the hemoglobin control. It does so much for brain metabolism. We need B12, and it's one of the original vitamins that was discovered deficient so many years ago. Folks, you need it. This is a solvable, a lozenge form that's very solvable in the mouth and tastes great and doesn't have refined sugars. You'll get it absorbed into your bloodstream rapidly, even faster than injection studies have shown. So load up on your B12. You can take it like candy during the day for multiple reasons. Water soluble vitamins have no detrimental side effects. And the next on the list is brain detox. So, brain detox with the glycine in there and some of the sulfur proteins and methionine, those help to detoxify the brain and keep toxicity from building up in it, which, as we mentioned earlier, causes that neurodegeneration, a loss of the neuroplasticity, which is seen in Alzheimer's and dementia. So it's one of the guardians of the brain. And then right there in the middle, are you showing that? Yeah, because I'm looking at it on a separate feed. The choline, the miracle liquid high potency formula that absolutely fuels the abundant need of the number one neurotransmitter that was discovered in 1922, acetylcholine. Folks, look that up. Just ask Chat GPT, hey, what does acetylcholine do for the body? And you'll be just awestruck about how it functions, neurotransmitter, readability of all the signals that come in from hormones and other neurotransmitters in every cell of the body. So we do copious amounts of choline, and not just for that, the fats that you need to absorb, choline helps to move bile and keep your gallbladders clean because you're going out to restaurants here on a Friday night in Houston, you're going to get poisoned by toxic levels of trans fats and hydrogenated fats, and your liver is going to need this choline. Your gallbladder is going to absolutely need it to break down those fats and get them out and help you then when you supplement after you consume that fat with your pure omega-3 that's over there on the far right to restabilize the cells, to keep the inflammation down. You have to have that to emulsify and break the fat down. Fats don't absorb really easily. And magnesium power for circulation reasons and to prevent plaquing in the brain. It helps to reverse that. This is our superstar formula, magnesium. We'll talk more about magnesium in other shows as it's associated with cardiovascular disease and the need for blood sugar. And by the way, dementia has been given, it was a dementia or Alzheimer's? Alzheimer's was actually labeled type 3 diabetes. And because magnesium is so key, and so is fish oil, and so pure omega, so is the choline in cell signaling for blood sugar control. The brain uses, again, 25% of all the body's energy, a lot of sugar. We need these components for blood sugar metabolism. You see the rise in diabetes going through the roof. So that'll reverse type 3 diabetes in brain function.
Yeah, it's so huge. Thank you for going through those supplements, Steve. And I'll make a couple last comments, folks. So when we put together nutrition and lifestyle protocols for our clients, they're plans that address all 7 areas, the 3 primary nutrition areas, which is obviously our food and then hydration. Those are the big ones. And then supplementation is important as well because of the way our foods have been depleted and our bodies have become so deficient as a result of years of taking medications and being in contact with chemicals in our environment. Our body needs that concentrated nutrition, and we use the best quality products. It's from food, so we just concentrate those nutrients from food to get those levels up where we're often deficient. Now, the other lifestyle factors that we need to make sure we consider are exercise, stress management, and sleep. Those 3 lifestyle factors are so important. We need to make sure we're walking daily. We need to exercise, maybe get some weights and resistance, maybe some jumping or bounding a little bit. You know, even if you're old and you can't really jump around, you can hold on to something and just kind of bounce on your toes a little bit to get a little exercise. These things that we need to do are so important for our health because our body needs to learn to work together. You know, we're taking the nutrition so that it is able to give us the ability to move, but we also need to make sure we move. And then managing our stress, responding to stressors, and how we think, in the words that we speak, and the actions that we take. Okay, I feel anxious, or I feel, what am I going to do? Maybe I should eat a healthy snack. Maybe I need to get hydrated. Maybe I need to have a little bit more vitamin C or magnesium. There's different things that we should do that are better for ourselves than just kind of popping a pill and trying to get our certain symptom to go away. And then sleep, so important. Our body does so much repair and recovery while we sleep, making sure we're sleeping during the dark hours. That is best for our body. Our body does so much more, has so much more of the, what is that called? The hormone, the human growth hormone that helps promote repair in the body is best produced when we're sleeping at night. So we want to make sure that we sleep during the night hours and not going to bed too late for that. And then the last principle is faith and family. And we believe that those are very much connected. Faith, our faith, what we believe about life and God, and then the family relationships that we have. They're all connected because the way we care for our family is often the way we treat others, the way we have a relationship with God, and so all this is connected. And we build our programs off of those seven principles for people to really have a good plan for what to do day to day to address their health issue, especially mental health challenges. And people just start to get better. They start to improve and really turn things around when they have, when you just have a plan. A lot of times that is a simple thing that can help you start improving the way that you're feeling. So, get on to prospernutrition.com, order the brain bundle. If you're still listening, you're going to get a special discount if you use the code 111425 show. That's the date we're doing this recording right now, November 14th, 25, and then the word show. 111425 show. You put that in the coupon code box at checkout. That'll give you 10% off your next order. And then if you want to find out a little bit more about how you can get a personalized nutrition plan and lifestyle plan for yourself, contact our office, 281-440-0024. Even if you're not local to us here in the Houston area, you can get blood testing done in your area, and we can review that with you and get a plan going for you. So we're equipped with to be able to help you in whatever way you need help, and we're looking forward to connecting with you. If you have questions, contact us. If you like this video, like, share, subscribe to our channel if you want to be notified when we put these videos. Steve and I try to record just about every week, unless it's around the holidays. Sometimes we'll miss days here and there, but just about every week we're coming to you with this information. Steve, thank you so much for sharing your expertise. Do you have a final comment that you can give us to wrap things up?
Ah, yes. Fat is good. Stay away from the toxic fats, eat more of the good fats, and watch fat melt off your body. We never talked about that in
Yeah,
weight loss.
right.
Folks, fatty acids will cause you to lose weight and keep it lean and make your skin so pretty and shiny.
It's good. Love it. Thank you so much, folks. Have a good